Hey friends, it's Alex and today I am sharing some of my 2022 reading and blogging and YouTube goals, I guess. So I do this every year and every year I fail and then I just do it the next year anyway. So here we are again. Hopefully this year I will get closer to succeeding than I normally do. I don't think I will get through all of this still, just because I'm me. But hopefully this year I'll get a little bit closer and get through more of what I'm aiming to get through. So most of these goals are specific books I want to read, but I do have some other more general goals. So I'll start with the more general goals, I guess. So my biggest one is that I want to reduce the amount of books I have on my TBR. And I'm pretty sure I say this every single year and every year I fail, but I really do want to try because I have a ridiculous amount of unread books. It's just out of hand. They're double stacked. It's I don't need that many books. I could not buy a single book for probably more than 3 years and I wouldn't run out of new books to read, if that makes sense. I just have so many and it's just stupid. I'd really like to read more books in a month than I buy, if that makes sense. I would also like to try and get to a point where I'm buying a book because I want to read it next, as opposed to I'm just buying it, which will not apply to everything because obviously there will be some things like special edition pre-orders or sequels where I want to pick up a matching copy for the first book and stuff like that, so I may not get to them straight away, but overall, and especially with books that have been out for a while that I'm oh, I just fancy reading that book, I'd like to pick it up when I'm actually ready to read it, as opposed to just buying it just because I'm in the mood to buy a book and that one's there, which is what I do a lot and I need to stop. My other more general goal is that I'd just like to read a little bit of something every day. Even if it's just a chapter or a page, I just want to make an effort to read a bit every day. Because in 2021 I kind of have fallen out of the habit of reading. I've been a bit slumpy and I've not been reading every day. In fact, for most of the year I've only been reading at the weekends and I've not read as much as I normally do this year. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I would like to just get back into the habit of reading every day, even if it is just the tiniest amount. Even if it's just listening to a bit of an audiobook on the way home from work or something like that. Just a little bit every day, that's all I want to try and do. And then in terms of my Goodreads reading goal, I'm probably going to keep it at 75, which is what I set it to in 2021. You will have to watch my 2021 reading wrap up to see if I met that goal. But I think I'm going to stick with that goal. I think partly just the way I've been reading at the moment, I've really dropped off my reading. I've not been reading as much as I have done in previous years, combined with the fact that I'm getting more and more into kind of slower paced adult fantasy books, and so those two combined make me think that I should go for a lower goal and not set it to 100 like I used to do every year. So I'm going to stick with 75. I think that's a good number. So in terms of my goals for specific books I want to read, I have three goals, not 3 books. There's a lot more than 3 books. My first one is that I would like to finish reading all of Jane Austen's books. So I have here Sense and Sensibility, Mansfield Park, Emma, which I have started but a very long time ago and I did enjoy it, so I want to get back to it, and Persuasion, and then Sanditon, which I believe is some shorter stories. So I have read Pride and Prejudice and I have read Northanger Abbey, and I would like to just finish reading her books. I read Pride and Prejudice in 2021 and I really, really, really loved it, and that's what's made me want to finally finish her collection. So yeah, Jane Austen's books are going to be my kind of main priority in terms of classics in 2022. But if I finish those and I've still got time, or I feel like I can manage it as well, I would also like to read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I think this is one of Beth's favourite books, and so I've been wanting to read it for a while, and hopefully this year will be the year. So those are 2 of my goals, and they both relate to classics, obviously. And then my third kind of specific books reading goal, I went through my TBR shelf and I picked out some books that I would just really like to read in 2022. Some of them are ones that I've had for ages and I'm at the point where it's like I need to just read them to get them off my TBR, either onto my red shelf because I love them or off to a charity shop because I didn't, but they just need to get off my TBR because it's been ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous now. And then some of them are just ones that I really want to read, or they're ones that I've intended to read in 2021 and didn't get to, so I'm kind of rolling them over. I have them on the top of my TBR cart. I have no idea how many books I have put into this 2022 TBR. I just kind of grabbed them until the top of my TBR cart was full. So I will go through them now with you. So first of all, I have two series, and they are the two series slash the books that kind of inspired this whole thing, and they're also the books that if I don't read them this year, I will, if I can make myself do it, I will unhaul them because I have had them for so long. I keep forgetting I have them. I'm like, I still feel like I want to read them, but at the same time I just forget I have them. I never reach for them, anything like that. So if I don't read them in 2022, then really they need to go. So the first of those series is, I don't know what the series is called, the Remnant Chronicles, that's what it's called. It's the Remnant Chronicles. So we have The Kiss of Deception, we have The Heart of Betrayal, and we have The Beauty of Darkness. I've had this series for so long, it's ridiculous, like I said, and I'm not reaching for it. So this year I'm going to read it or I'm going to unhaul it. Or maybe both. Maybe I won't like it. Every time I go to unhaul this series, I remember the premise of this book and remember why I was interested in it in the first place, and that makes me not want to unhaul it again. But I just don't reach for it to read it, so how interested am I really? So hopefully this year I will read it and I will find out if I actually like it, or maybe I can just read the first one and unhaul the whole series. We'll see, but that's the first 3 books on my 2022 TBR. And then the other series that I'm going to unhaul if I don't read this year, because I've had it for probably like 7 years and not even thought about reading it, is the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams-Chimer. I think that's how you say her name. So we have The Demon King, The Exiled Queen, The Grey Wolf Throne, and The Crimson Crown. I've heard really good things about this series, so once again, maybe I'll really, really love it, but I'm just not getting around to it and I just need to get around to it. So hopefully this year I will read it. Both of these series I'm reluctant to unhaul without reading. Yeah, so hopefully this year I will finally get to both of these series. The rest of these books are just ones that I would like to read this year, but if I don't get to them this year, they're not being unhauled. So the next 2 books are books that I just really like to get to because, well, there's a reason for both of them. So I'll do those next, and then all of the books after that are ones I meant to get to in 2021 and didn't. So the 2 I just added to the list newly this year that I just like to read. I have Dune by Frank Herbert. I want to read this one because the movie's already come out, I think, in the cinemas, and I want to read it before I see the movie, so why not try and read it in 2022 and then I can watch a movie. I don't think I'll get to see it at the cinemas. I don't think I'll read it before it finishes at the cinemas, but I would like to read this one soon so I can get to the movie. And this is the 50th anniversary edition, so it's clearly a very well loved book, so I'm really hoping I'll enjoy it too, and I always want to read more sci-fi. So I'm definitely excited to check this one out. And then the other book that I've added newly this year is Iron Widow by Shiran Zhao. This is one that a lot of my friends have been raving over lately and is just making me really excited to read it. And I think it's sci-fi, which, like I say, I've been wanting to read more of lately. So hopefully this will be a good one. I did try and get to Iron Widow at the end of 2021, but it just didn't happen in the end. And then the last few books on this list are ones that I wanted to get to in 2021 but just didn't get around to. So I want to read The Caged Queen and The Sky Reaver by Kristen, Cicerelli, think. I've read the first book in this series, which is The Last Namsara, and I loved it so much, but I did read it quite a while ago now, and I just really want to finish out the series. Another series I'd like to finish, I don't know what this series is called, the Cursebreaker series. I'd like to finish the Cursebreaker series, so I have A Heart So Fierce and Broken and A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Brigid Camera. Once again, I've read the first book and I really enjoyed it, and I just want to finish out the series. Also, Brigid Camera is one of Blue's favourite authors, so that's making me more keen to read all of Brigid's books. Speaking of Brigid Camera, I also have Storm on this list. This was one that Blue picked for me to read last year. I did like a reading challenge, it failed. As far as I know, it's like a paranormal romance series, which I don't read a lot of, but I'm expecting it just to be fun. So another series I've started and would like to wrap up is, I don't know what this series is called, the Girls series maybe? I don't know. Girls of Paper and Fire series is what it says on the back, so I don't know if that's just what the series is called. Anyway, we have Girls of Storm and Shadow and Girls of Fate and Fury. I would like to wrap up this series. I really, really loved book one, and then I've just been waiting for the series to be complete so I can like marathon it, and it is now complete, so I can now finish this series. The last series on this list that I've already started and want to finish is the Mistborn trilogy, just the like first era trilogy. So I have The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages. I believe I read the first book in 2020, not even 2021, and I meant to finish this series in 2021 and I didn't, and I would like to because I really, really loved the first book, and I would really like to wrap up this series, find out what happens, and then also be able to move on through the other Cosmic books. I have a load of them, I just need to finish these ones so I can get to them. And then I have 2 more books left. Another one that was on my challenge to read in 2021 and I didn't get to is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Diva. I've been really excited to read this one for a while, I just didn't get to it, but it is like, it's really short, or it looks short at least, it might be longer than it looks. Yeah, it's over 300 pages, so it's about average, but it's contemporary and I'm just really keen to read it, and so hopefully I will actually get to it this year. Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I read I always forget what the series name is called because it's really similar to the V.E. Schwab series, but I think it's the Shades of London series, and let me check. Yeah. The Shades of London series. The first book is called The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. It's one of my favourite series of all time. It is so good. So the Truly Devious series is one I've been wanting to read for quite a long time. I have the whole series, apart from, I don't have the whole series, that's a lie. I have the main trilogy. I don't have the 4th book that was published recently, but it is out so I can just grab it when I need to. But yeah, the Shades of London series was like a mystery series and it was amazing, so I have really high hopes for this series, but I wonder if that's maybe why I've not read it yet, because I'm slightly worried it will let me down, but I don't think it will, but fingers crossed. And then lastly I have Descendant of the Crane by Joan He. I would just really like to read this because it sounds really excellent, and it was also one of the ones I was meant to read in 2021 and didn't get to. So those are all the books on my 2022 TBR, and those are all of the reading goals that I have set for 2022. I do also have some like booktube and blogging goals, which I will tell you about now. So moving on to my booktube goals, my only one this year is to just try and post once a week. That's it. I just want to try and get one video up every week. If I post more than that, that's fine. If I have more video ideas or like certain things, like the first few weeks of 2022 will probably have a lot of videos because there's all the like yearly wrap up and goals, and I'll do some anticipated releases and all that, so there's like a lot of videos I can do now, but I want to at very least post one video a week. So hopefully I can manage that. It doesn't sound too hard, but it can be quite hard sometimes. So hopefully I manage that. That's the only YouTube goal I have. So, and then my other kind of content creation goal is really just to get back into blogging. I basically just use my blog to post reviews, and I haven't reviewed a book like in pretty much a year. So I would like to just try and get back into writing reviews for the books I read. So hopefully that will happen. But again, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. Even if I just do one every now and then, that's good enough. I just want to try and ease myself back into it. So yeah, those are my 2022 reading and content creation goals, or my bookish goals, I guess. Let me know if you have any goals for the year. They don't have to be bookish, just anything, just let me know. Also, any of those books on my 2022 TBR, if you think I should prioritise them, let me know that too. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!